Alrighty, my sweets, we are going to create our homemade sketchbooks today. So here is a finished example that I did for myself. It says Miss Jenkins Art Sketchbook, and it actually has a drawing of me as my Bitmoji character that you guys will get to know throughout the next 6 weeks. And I added some flowers, and it's just really colorful and fun. And so I'm going to show you how to make this, and the way that you decorate yours is completely up to you. You have all the freedom in the world. I'm just going to show you how to actually make it, okay? All right, so the things you're going to need are, you'll need some white paper. I would say anywhere between 8 to 15 pieces would be great. And this is just the regular size sort of printer style paper, so 8.5 by 11 approximately. You'll want either 2 pieces of construction paper that are about the same size as your white paper, or you'll want the larger piece of construction paper, which is not 9 by 12, but it's 12 by 18 inches, so that we can fold that larger construction paper in half. You're also gonna need markers, crayons, or color pencils for decorating. You'll need a hole puncher if you plan on using the string to tie it closed. If you're going to staple it together, you'll need a nice strong stapler. Of course, you're going to need a pencil and eraser for drawing, and I think that is all. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing you want to do is, if you have the larger piece of construction paper, the 12 by 18, you want to fold it exactly in half so that both edges meet one another perfectly, okay? Once you have it exactly in half, you want to hold it tight with one hand on that open side and take your finger and push it all the way to the center, and then squeeze up to make that crease for your book, okay? So now you've got your cover for your sketchbook. Then you're going to take your pieces of paper, and they're going to go inside your colored construction paper book. So it's in here like this. So like I said, there's 2 ways to do this. The first way would be to put holes in it using a hole puncher. So you can see how I'm making these little circles on the 3 things here. Now if you have a hole puncher like this that is heavy duty and can take several pages at once and put them all 3 for you, then you can go ahead and use that. And that's what I have, so that's what I'm going to use, at least for part of this. Oh, look, it's too thick. So sometimes it's too thick, and then what you have to do is do the papers separately. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my 3 or 4 pieces of paper together and bring them in here. What is going on with this? 1 second. All right, we're just not going to do it that way. We're just going to do it this way with my hand hole puncher, because I don't know what's going on with that one. So 1, 2, 3. Now, in order to get your paper to all match up, you would then need to take your next 3 or 4 pieces and put the 3 pieces you've already hole punched right on top of the other paper below, and mark it with your pencil. That way you know where you're going to put your next set of holes. So here we go again, same steps. 1, 2, 3. All right, now I've got those all together. And then my final pieces of paper that I have left over, maybe 3 or 4 more sheets, I'm going to put one of the hole punched pieces that I've already done on top of it, and mark it, mark it, mark it. And why are we marking them? So that once we put all these together, they're all lined up. So it's really important that you stack a finished one on top of unfinished ones, so that you end up having all your papers together with a hole in between through the whole thing. Then you're going to want to do the same exact thing to your book cover. So I'm going to line up my paper right here and mark it on my folded piece of construction paper. Okay. Okay, and it looks like I already kind of had it marked when I did the circles. And I'm going to hole punch, hole punch, hole punch. And then I'm going to open my sketchbook and take my white pieces of paper and put them right in there, making sure that I'm matching up the holes to the holes. Okay, now I've got my holes matching up. Okay, so once I have lined up my white paper inside of my colored folded paper, or the two pieces of construction paper, one on the back, one on the front, and my white paper's holes are lined up with my construction paper holes, I can then go ahead and take my string. This can be yarn, it can be any kind of thin rope, shoelaces, pipe cleaners, you can almost do anything. So I'm gonna start by going into the top hole, making sure I'm going through the cover plus all the pieces on the outside. And I'm gonna pull it through pretty significantly, okay, so that I have a lot of it coming out of that hole and then a lot of it is still left over behind it. Then I'm gonna take the string and go through my middle hole and pull it through. And then back here, I'm going to bring it through the hole. Okay, so it's coming out of the first hole, then it's going into the second hole, and then it's coming around from the back to the last hole. And then we're gonna pull it through so that as we're pulling it, we can start to bring our two pieces of string together, the one at the top and the one at the bottom, so that they're ending up about the same length, okay? So I'm gonna pull it just a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go back and re-weave it. So I'm at the end here, this is the end of my book, this is the string is coming out. I'm gonna go back to the middle hole, and I'm gonna go into the middle hole, so the string is coming out from the back. And then I'm gonna go in through the top hole, coming in from the back. And remember, it's gotta be fairly thin string if you want to be able to do this, because you're trying to fit, you know, two pieces of string in there. So if you're using yarn, you want thinner yarn. Okay, so now you can see that I have these two pieces of string left over at the top, and my book has been tied all the way through on both the front and the back. So then up here, I can tie it however I want to tie it. So I'm just gonna do a bow up here, and there we go. Now, if you didn't want to do the hole punch version or the string, you can also simply put your white paper inside your colored paper, and then you can simply staple it, staple it, staple it. And for my little guys, my little new students, remember that mom and dad, hopefully, or somebody can help you staple them together if they're too thick, if it's too hard for you. All right, so now you have made your sketchbook. The next thing I would do, boys and girls, is I would go ahead and write my name on it, but I would write it really artistically, really fun. So as you can see on my first example, I wrote my letters kind of pretty, kind of artsy, and they're just different kinds of lettering styles as well. So you can do it, you know, plain or fancy as much as you want, because remember, you're gonna add color, and this is gonna be your special sketchbook, so you personalize it however you wish. So I'm just gonna use my first name for this one. My name is Marina Jenkins, and I'm just gonna write Marina. So you can write your first name on it, and I'm gonna say M for Marina. Now, of course, you are not writing down my name, you are writing down your name, the way you spell your name. Like my daughter's name is Annika, and that's what she's gonna write on her sketchbook. And I'm gonna put the first letter of my last name, so the initials, so Marina J, which stands for Marina Jenkins. Now, you can decorate your letters however you want. To simply make these a little bit more interesting, I'm just gonna add a second layer to one side of my lettering. You see how I'm doing that? I'm just adding a second layer to my letters, to just make them less flat and slightly more interesting. Do you have to do this? No, it is totally up to you. You can decide how you want to decorate your sketchbook, okay? It's all up to you. So there's my letter, and then you can start drawing all over it. If you want to write sketchbook on it, you totally can. If you want to write art book, that's fine. And everything you do can just have lots of colors and lots of fun stuff. You want to decorate it with cars, animals, flowers, pictures of ice cream and popsicles, whatever you want, you can do that. So I'm gonna do a cupcake on top of my sketchbook. So here is my cupcake liner. Okay, now if you want to do this right along with me, you can. There's my liner. So it's 2 lines that come at a diagonal, and then a curved line that joins them together. And then I'll start to draw vertical lines that are slightly diagonal, which means they're slanted a little to create that appearance of a liner. And then here's my cupcake piece. Here's part of my cupcake part. Now I want to decorate this with icing, so I'm gonna do curves with 2 vertical curves on the side. A long curve like that, like a smiley face, and then 2 vertical, which is straight up and down style curves on the sides. And I'll do 1 more like that. And now I've got my cupcakes. Do I want to add sprinkles to my cupcake? Sure, why not? Do you want to add other little candy type things? You can. And then, boys and girls, you are ready to start decorating your sketchbook. So you get to decide how you want to color it. I'm going to use this color for my M. And I'm going to just keep going, adding different colors that make me happy. I want you to also pay attention to how I'm actually laying down my colors. I'm using the tip of my marker or color pencil or crayon to sort of outline the space that I want to fill in with a certain color, and then I'm filling it in carefully so that it looks nice and clean. So that is what we're going to do. Now, when you're done coloring everything in, if you want to make everything even pop more, you can also use a black marker to outline your stuff if you want to. It lets everything kind of show up nice and dark and bold, and we can see it really clearly. So what color should I use for my J? How about I use let's use a purple color. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to let you finish decorating your piece, but I just want to show you what this looks like if you outline everything with black. So here's a black Sharpie, and I'm outlining my name, and that kind of makes everything pop just a little bit more. So that is definitely what we want to do. We want it to be expressive and fun and just bring you joy when you look at it, get you excited about all the adventures you're going to have inside of your sketchbook. And take your time, boys and girls. This does not need to be completed until next week, okay? So you'll turn it in next week on the hub. All right, so I'm going to end by showing you again one more time my finished sketchbook over here. And you guys, you're not going to actually draw anything in here when you're done. You're going to leave these pages blank for future assignments that we do, and you'll learn more about that in the upcoming weeks. I am so excited to see what you do with your sketchbooks. As soon as you're done creating your sketchbooks, I want you to please take a picture and then load it up on the hub on the page where the assignment is due. If you're having trouble, remember Mom and Dad can help. You can always send emails to the teacher to ask for help, but I definitely want to see what you do because that's how you get credit for it. And plus, it's just so fun for the art teacher to see all the cool stuff you guys create. So I can't wait to see it, and I'll see you guys soon. Love you. Bye.